All right, guys, let's get right into it as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys tries to convince the fans not to jump off the train. Hopefully, Shotty has some more palatable words for us today, and hopefully he gives us a few answers as it pertains to what the hell are we going to do with this defense, y'all. Let's get right into it, and y'all be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content just like this on the rig. Shut your up. All right, Shotty. Don't disappoint me today, brother. Don't disappoint. He's smiling. Hopefully I end up smiling.
Watkins, Dallas Morning News. CeeDee Lamb, will he practice today?
You should practice today. Just got done with a walkthrough, and he was very involved, and so we'll see how he moves around today.
Interpreted in the same situation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sanborn in the concussion protocol?
He's got one test, I believe, to get through.
Okay. So we're getting about three, four guys back this week. CD, Terp, Sanborn's likely going to come back. I'm going to tell y'all right now, bro. Y'all really need to start watching tape or understanding exactly what you're looking at, bro. And I'm telling you, make sure you're getting it from trusted sources, because even some of the people that y'all trust, they have been breaking down this tape, bro. I'm not talking about no content creators or nothing like that. I'm talking about like a Dallas-based platform. They've been breaking down some of this tape wrong, bro, and blaming some of the stuff that's going on the defense on the wrong guys. I'm telling y'all right now, bro, Shamar James, the rookie, I don't know if him and Kenneth Murray are just not on the same page communication-wise, but they have some things to figure out. So I, for one, and I'm glad to see Jack Sanborn back, because there was a lot of confusion, and honestly, there was a downslope with the linebacker play since he's been hurt. And honestly, that's coincided directly with the run game being worse.
One more question, if I may. We've talked a lot about the defensive scheme and it's changing. Are you surprised that it's still not where you want it to be, and here we are going into week 7?
I would say that we're looking at everything, and again, I think, a couple weeks ago was the pass game and the inability to not give up big plays and big passes, and that's gotten better. And then this week we took a step back, I would say, with the run game, but the process doesn't change, and we're looking at everything. We're looking at adjustments that we can make and things that we can tweak to make it better. We're looking at things that we can coach better. We're looking at things that we can do from a personnel standpoint to feature some guys. And whether you win, lose, play well, don't play well, there's always going to be tweaks.
Clarence Hill, the LLS Cowboys, is that it's like plugging a hole in a dike to a certain extent?
What? The hell this man saying? I can't understand. That wasn't English.
You say that you fix the big plays and you give up the run, but then there were also big plays against the wide open receivers in the secondary as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, again, it's you have to break it up into different things. So, when we look at every game, we look at, the pass game. Like I said to you guys on Monday, we watch the game very different than we ever have with the defensive staff this week. And we looked at all the normal D&D runs, and we pointed out the issues and the problems. And there were things we did well. But like I've talked about, our gap fits weren't very good, right? They were doing a really good job of coming downhill, and we got to use our linebackers and safeties to take people off double teams. And then we watch all first, second down passes. Play action passes have been a problem for us. We're not playing with great eyes. That's real. Well, how do you fix that? Well, you do that with walkthroughs. You do that through practice.
That's something that shows up a lot on film too, bro. The defense gets caught out of position consistently on any type of play action, and that's something that we knew was a weakness to the attacking front style that Matt Eberflus uses. Is they see ball, get ball. So if there's any type of misdirection with the ball, then likely it'll get your defense, man.
Through film study and sitting in the meetings this morning, those are the things that you look at and say, okay, well, why are these things happening? Well, it's a copycat league. So when someone beats you on a route off a play action pass, you're going to see that, rightfully so. You're going to see that route for the next couple of weeks, and we've seen that. And when we've had those breakdowns and given them up, it's literally been different for different reasons. And so. But the solution is very simple. You just keep working, you keep communicating. We had really good meetings with the defense this morning in the defensive install and things like that. And so
I get it, Shotty. I get it. And you may really believe what you just said. But now you're in this is where being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys kicks in. You're in a place where people want a little bit more to sink their teeth into as far as giving us hope. Because that's what these pressers are all about. It's about information and about relaying a vibe to your fan base, essentially, right? And if you want to give the fan base hope or answers or something that's kind of just placate the angry mob, that just saying we got to get back to work and practice and communicate, the casual fan, that's not going to be enough.
hopefully today's practice goes well.
Yeah. You've been working on the scheme since, Influence got here. Can the changes take hold in 1 week? Is that realistic that they can get fixed in 1 week?
Well, again, you can't, we're not going to change. I mean, you're not going to look out there on Sunday afternoon at 3:25 and be like, man, they're playing 3-4. That's not going to happen. There's going to be adjustments based on things that we want to do that we think will help us play better and with more confidence. Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be things that we do because of the opponent that we're playing, in this case, Washington. But we're not, ripping up the playbook and starting over. We're saying, okay, let's look at our personnel again. Okay, let's look at these first, 6 weeks. What are the areas that we know we need to improve, and you start there. But really, if you try to change everything in a 1 week span or a 2 week span, it's not realistic. So you start with small changes at 10 to 15%. It's an arbitrary number, doesn't really matter, and you start there.
Brian Tollercher from ESPN. With CD, what do you need to see from him in practice to say, okay, he's back, he's good to go?
Yeah, if he's breathing, I'd feel pretty good.
He said if he breathing, I feel pretty good.
No, honestly, I mean, CD knows how to play football. If he runs around and catches a pass or two, I'm good.
Turpin, same kind of
Yeah, the same. I mean, again, not much different. But the biggest thing, honestly, I make light of it because we're excited that they're trending to play and all that stuff. But the biggest thing is that there is a ramp up. Can he play 85 plays if we have to? He probably would want to, but we'll be smart about what we do with them. And I just want to see really how they move today. But then it's almost like how they feel tomorrow, Todd. Hey, yeah, I feel really good, or I'm a little sore. Those are things you're looking for. But with all three of those guys, coming back and trending into practice, we'll know more tomorrow.
We talked to you last week about the consultant year that you had. How trying was that year in Jacksonville, considering all the stuff that happened? And did that play a part in you, like, maybe I want to take a break, just because of how long that season may have been?
It was an interesting year.
That's an interesting question out the clear blue.
How much time you guys had? I got practice at one. It was. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about things that I believe in, things I don't believe in. I learned a lot about myself as a man, as a leader. It was a very trying year, and there were positives that came out of it, and that's what I try to focus on, is the positives I took from it. Made some great relationships with some terrific young men and other coaches that I will have relationships with for the rest of my life, and that's what I kind of focus on more than the football side of it.
John Machado with The Athletic. With getting CD back, with what you've seen from George, does it just go right back to the way it was before, or has George shown you anything to where you're like, I want to kind of use him maybe a little bit differently than I did before?
Well, I think what George has shown us over the last couple of weeks is we can move him around. I think really, it took George a little while for us to be able to move him around. The one thing that George has proven over these last couple of weeks is our ability to move him around, which makes us more difficult to defend, because really CD was the guy we were trying to move around, right? And George was kind of at one spot, but, George has been terrific with us, putting him at different spots and different positions, and I think he kind of likes it because I think it holds his attention and keeps him dialed in. And but I think it's a great thing, and integrating them both in, and there's one ball, we know that, and they're both really good players, so we'll see where the defense makes the ball go.
And as that Cowboys head coach, there's a lot of firsts for a first-time Cowboys head coach, and this will be your first 325 game. Probably have to navigate through some sun there. How much are you looking forward to that?
Yeah. Well, I've been here for a little while.
There goes John sneaking in there.
I've heard about it. Hey, look, we really do. I mean, if you guys could see the process and plan that we have in place to figure it out. I mean, we have satellite imaging, we have pictures of the sun when it's coming down, and so there's a big plan in the process. But I think when you look historically at what's happened, it really hasn't affected, many situations, and we plan for it. The opponents plan for it, but at the end of the day, it's something that we're aware of, and it's very beautiful. It's majestic almost when the sun comes through there. So.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. You have the number one offense in the NFL. You're adding a piece like CD back into the fold. How much better can the offense get?
Well, my focus is the run game. So unless CD wants to dig out safeties all day long, I think, that's the area that we've been focused on, Nick, is, cleaning up the run game. CD's going to play his game. We know that. GP's going to play his game, but I don't say that to be funny. I mean, literally, we have to clean up our run game. We're not going to win many games rushing for 31 yards at 1.6 average. And, so that's been the big focus. And, again, CD helps that because we might get a little bit more shell coverage and things like that.
I like that. Put the focus back on running the ball. I like that.
Our main focus as an offensive staff, along with putting together a hell of a game plan, has been looking at the run game issues, and because we're getting ready to play a team that knows how to run the football. So I think they're first in the league in rushing, talking about Washington, of course, and we're clearly way better than we were running the football offensively last week.
Kind of along those same lines, are you more hesitant to put CD in the backfield, or is it still keeping that play moving forward?
No, yeah. I mean, I don't think we'll start the game with it. But no, like I said, I have no problem with that call. Injuries, you hate to see them happen, but they happen, and yeah, we'll still use him in a multiple spots.
And One last quick one. Miles Sanders went on season-ending IR last week. Is Phil Maffa a guy y'all want to open the practice window for?
We're talking about different things. Again, Phil's been doing good with all his rehab and things like that, and a lot of things that we like about Phil. But there's other options out there potentially as well, and we're keeping all those options open.
Other options out there. What does that mean? There's other options out there. Because as far as I know, we got Jaden Bluefield, Maffa, and Hunter Lupke. What does other options out there mean? Did he just
talked a lot recently about parity and how this is kind of a week-to-week league. When the margins are kind of
That's
so
the follow-up.
close week in, week out, what can you do to create an edge for your team? What have you seen in the past that creates edges for teams and ultimately wins games in the fourth quarter, close games down the
Yeah, I mean, again, I think.
What are the follow-ups? Because his only other option is Jaden Blue. Hunter Lupke is Hunter Lupke. They're going to use him how they're using him. What's the follow-up?
Very vocal about the importance of the takeaway giveaway ratio. I think that's very important. I was surprised that we won the turnover battle last week, but still lost the game. That's disappointing because I generally believe when you win the turnover battle, you should win the game, and unfortunately we didn't do that. And there's multiple reasons why, but. The beauty of it is, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Like when I talk about the Commanders to the guys, I'm not a coach that talks a lot about, okay, here's Dan Quinn and here's Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt, and I don't go into all that stuff. Why? Because it's about us. It's focusing on us and what we do. Now the coordinators break into more specifics about, hey, Terry McLaurin, he's really good. Jaden Daniels, really good. Deron Payne, really good. But again, I want our guys focusing on us, and my message to the team this week was, we control our standard. No one else does but us. And if they continue to work and compete every day at a consistent level, there's my word. You guys know it. That's my word. If we can be more consistent, then we'll play and we'll find ways to win those games that we have come up a little bit short, whether it's a tie or a loss. But they got to be consistent with their competitive spirit every day.
Do you feel like this is the most parity the league has had in a while?
I feel like it's been this way for a long time, but because any given Sunday, the term's been around a long time, but there's a lot of parity. So I could see you could make that argument. I don't know what the stats would tell us, but you could make that argument.
Yeah, I'm about to say, who cares?
CBS Sports. Brian, you've worked, I think, alongside Dan Quinn a lot.
Our reporters be goofy, dog. Who cares? Who cares?
22 as a consultant, and then we're obviously the OC across from him practice.
Is this the most parity you've seen in the league in a while?
This is the DC. What's it going to be like calling plays against him in a game for the first time as Cowboys?
Well, again, I love DQ.
Where's the follow-up? So where are some of the those options that you just was? Are you talking about Jaden Blue? Or are you talking about something outside of the building? That should have been a follow-up somebody asked.
But I think I think Joe Witt does a hell of a job for them. And again, I'll get back to Dan, but I learned a lot from Joe in my time here. You talk about a guy that's just a really brilliant football coach. His toughness, the way he demands. And the only reason I went to Joe is because I think, my understanding, he's calling every play and doing a hell of a job. They're not, they're giving up some yards, but they're not giving up a lot of points. And, just can't say enough good things about Joe. And, with DQ, it's just, it's very natural. I mean, he and I go back a long ways, back to Hofstra. I didn't go to Hofstra like he did, but spent a lot of time together with the Jets. And then he went to my alma mater, Florida, and we stayed in contact. And then, guy's a hell of a football coach, and nothing but love for him.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio 105.3, The Fan. When you turn on the tape and see 54 Bobby Wagner, and I know you were with him in Seattle, still the same, and I can't believe I'm saying this, not that you take an 11-time All-Pro for granted, but just the consistency that, do you still see that same kind of
100%. I mean, we were actually talking about in a quarterback meeting this morning. The guy just, his ability to still play this game at such a high level is something that should be written about. It should be talked about. It is incredible. I mean, because he still hasn't slowed down. He still dissects things. He's still an incredible blitzer. He just impacts the game so many ways. And a big part of us having success running the football this week is going to be trying to.
Why do y'all care about what Brian Schottenheimer thinks about Bobby Wagner?
Block Bobby, and that's really hard to do. But one of my favorite players of all time, I was telling the story, whatever year it was, he's in year 13, right? So was it 12 or 13 or 14 draft, whatever. I was with St. Louis, and we were in the war room, and I was the offensive coordinator, and we were trying to get up to get Bobby. We loved Bobby and wanted to get him, and Seattle moved right ahead of us in the second round, and and took him. And I'll never forget one of the personnel guys, it was one of the area scouts, grabbing his water and slinging it against the wall. And I was kind of like, man, what's the big deal? Like, linebacker from Utah State. And now I look back, I'm like, oh, that's why. So, he's an incredible player, but an incredible person, incredible dad. Heck, the way he's playing now, he can still play a couple more years.
Awesome. Got all the Bobby Wagner talk.
George Pickens seemingly has a handshake with everyone. Does he have a handshake with you?
You know, I try to keep up with these guys on their handshakes, but they're really confusing and they go fast. So no. I think they probably feel like I'm a lost hope when it comes to like the dap and this and that, and they do all those things. So I kind of leave that to them. But my daughter and I have one. That's kind of cool. Yeah. And
me and my daughter got one too, Shotty. Me and my daughter got one too, Shotty.
I'll start with that. Maybe get one with my wife, and then trending toward. Guyton asked me to do one, and I messed it up. And so he's like, "No, we're not doing it more, Shotty." I'm like, "Okay." So I think a few of them have tried, and I haven't very well.
And on the note with Pickens, Jerry said yesterday he's been beyond what you guys expected, not only on the field, off the field, talking about how he's fit in with the team. I was wondering if you could give us maybe a behind-the-scenes look at just how he's fit with this team and how important that's been in his transition here.
No story, no antidote, but literally you guys can see how much he loves playing the game of football. It's very evident. It doesn't matter the situation. He just loves playing the game. His personality is truly infectious. We actually sit in meetings a lot. We just laugh about GP, some of the stuff he says on the field. He'll make number one, any pass he catches, he practices a celebration. So that's kind of cool. He's got a lot of choreographed stuff. But some of the stuff he'll do, like he caught a ball the other day, and it was like a one-handed catch, and the safety was running over the top. And I was asking him about it. I was like, "Hey, man, that was an amazing catch." He goes, "Yeah, insane, right?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, it was insane."
Yeah.
But like he just loves it. And
GP
so,
crazy, bro.
What a great teammate.
Hey, GP got a screw loose.
Seriously, great teammate, and so lucky to have him.
Sagi's of the Athletic. Ryan, cohesion has talked a lot about when it comes to the offensive line. You guys have had a lot of changes there just because of all the injuries, and now you're starting to get guys back. How do you kind of work through the cohesion with all the different pieces and everybody that you are getting back injured?
Yeah, I mean, the rotation's very well thought out. It's very detailed how you work guys and rep guys. And, with Book coming back, you'll do some different things with TJ and, play some guard, play some center, do some different things. But it's really well thought outside. And then, obviously we're big on cross-training anyways. It's important. I think we showed 2 weeks ago in New York that you can do it with a lot of new faces. And why is that? Because these guys have been, doing a lot of football together since we showed up in Oxnard, and I think that's important. But the biggest thing for me is the communication. And like I said, on Monday, our communication wasn't great last week. And it wasn't the ID. The ID was fine. Brock did a good job. But we didn't communicate up and down the line very well, or at the standard that we need to, and that kind of hurt us. And when we had opportunities to make good plays in the run game, we didn't because we weren't communicating.
With the interior guys stepping in, how impressive have they been, in particular with Brock and TJ, both having to play on shorter?
Yeah, again, I don't think we're surprised. I'm not surprised. I can't talk highly enough about both those guys, but it goes back to my main point that I say all the time, that whole idea and mantra of next man up. It's real, and it's part of the game. And, but blown away by those guys' performance, yeah, but not surprised. Excited for them because
our reporters aren't asking very interesting questions. I'm not going to lie, bro. Has anybody asked him, like, have you had a time in this season yet where you felt yourself starting to lose your temper? And if you were, how did you deal with it? What was it about? There's so many questions you could ask these dudes.
Gives them the confidence about where their careers are going. Let's talk TJ for a second. Really, they're both young, but TJ's a young player.
And they asking the most cookie cutter, basic, boring ask. Oh, what do you think about this player? What do you think about this player? What do you? And not even like relevant players, like the most random, buried on the bench players.
Got a bright future ahead of him, and if Book's back this week and TJ's on the bench, he'll be ready to go if ever called
no
upon
offense, but man, we don't care about no damn TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman questions.
In any
backups.
Michelle.
Michelle, WBA coach. What is it like being in a building right now? Like, specifically, you said you spent some more time with the defense. When the coaches are pointing out, game notes and stuff, what is the feel in there as you try to educate but also sharpen?
I enjoy it. I think it's really great give and take. I try to help them understand how they would be attacked and how I would attack them based on their pieces and things like that. I have the insight to know both, the scheme that they do, but also the players and how I would want to use my pieces if I was Cliff Kingsbury, and how I would want to attack, some of our guys. And I'm being educated on some things, quite honestly, different ways that you can play zone and man and different front variations you can use and all the things that go into it. The thing that reminds me about it is how important communication is on defense. And if you don't communicate, because again, they have to adjust to the offense.
Maybe what you're asking them to do on defense is requiring too much communication. Have we thought about that? Maybe it's requiring too much damn communication. Y'all said y'all were going to simplify things. It sounds like there's a lot of communication needed. That doesn't sound very simple.
And so, you'd be amazed how many times you can take one play and with one front and one coverage, if the formation strength changes, it changes almost 7 people. You know, maybe not the 4 defensive linemen, but it changes almost 7 people. And when those things are moving fast and going fast on game day, if you're not communicating well, why you would feel stressed, why you would feel anxious. And they're going to test us with that this week because they do so much on the ball, up-tempo.
Yep. And Washington uses a lot of motion and misdirection.
Our communication needs to get better. It needs to be a big emphasis. And that was something that we were talking a lot about.
Telling y'all right now, bro, I hate to say this, but expect Jaden Daniels to give him at least one long bomb against us for a touchdown.
In the meetings.
Letting y'all know, bro.
Dave Loffmer, Cowboys Radio Network 105.3 The Fan. You may not even be aware of this, but tomorrow's your birthday. Your birthday always falls in football season for most of your life. You've been doing football. Do you do anything at all? Does that day mean anything to you? You get anything from home?
Not really.
Fair question.
We'll have a little celebration, I'm sure, this weekend. Got a bunch of family coming in town for this game, as we always do, because I'm a big family guy. But no, not really. But on the flip side, I get a get out of jail free card when it's my wife's birthday in November, because it's football season. And so, well, no, I use my mom, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law. They kind of go out and thank you, Joy. Joy, we need to be thinking about this wherever you are, because she's going to want something really nice this year. No, I mean, it's honestly, you know, it's I celebrate everybody's birthday. I announce it to the team. We had a couple birthdays today. Actually, Jerry's was Monday. Will McClay, born on the same day. I don't know if you guys knew that. You know, Will Britt, one of our guys here in the analytics, it was his birthday. But my birthday's I'm a little bit more low key when it comes to my birthday, especially hitting 52 tomorrow. I mean, like, what's there to celebrate with that? Like, I'm old. You know, it gets worse. You sure it doesn't get better, Brad?
Sure. Damn it. It's not worse.
Okay, it's not worse.
All right, sorry guys, we're out.
All right, so real quick, notes real quick. Is Shotty still keeping it light? The tone isn't too heavy. He isn't trying to give off a sense of, hey, I'm worried, I'm concerned. He's really trying to make sure he keeps this thing calm. He keeps the boat floating calm, right? He doesn't want the waters to get too rocky or anything. And I can tell just by how measured he is in the energy that he's giving off and how he's presenting himself, right? He's not allowing himself to give off frustration. So will that pay off? We shall see. But that was Brian Schottenheimer on our injured guys, the Commanders, and just a whole lot of random questions that the reporters for some reason want to know the answers to. Either way, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until next time, how about them Cowboys?
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.